If you are observing closely, you will see that suddenly I'm appearing with a jacket on. This is because it's autumn and the weather is cooling down a little bit. But that should not interfere with the Milligan story, of course. So, as I was saying originally, the families, both on my mother's side and my father, all finished up serving in the army in India. My father, who served in the South African War, was returned to India and did his duties there and thought, oh, this is all right, this is a lovely place to stay, and he called his family over. And he already had 2 children, my mother and an older brother, all born and living in London. And off they went to India, where they stayed almost for the rest of their lives, very happily. And the young Father Milligan, my father, was sent out to India about 1910, I think it would have been. My mother's family went out in 1904, so that was a long time ago. And they settled into the usual army routine there, and Dad and Mum met. And where did they meet? Doing theatricals for their army friends, and they had theatres in each army establishment in India. At that time, live theatre was the entertainment, and Father Milligan formed a theatrical group in which Mum was a great assistant and performer with him, was the pianist, in fact, where he sang and danced and did all his fun and stuff, which is possibly where Brother Spike got his ideas from, I'm quite sure. And then they were stationed in a number of different stations. Mother's family was stationed in Pune. Pune was the very Paka Barasab upmarket area, even though it was military. And Father Milligan was also stationed there, where of course they met. And they performed in their little theatrical groups in army camps all over India for years. Places like Ahmednagar, even in Bombay, with Mum and her sister used to go down and sing in the governor's band of Bombay. They went down by train and came back to Pune in the evening. Then the family was ready for having a family. And who should arrive on the scene but a certain person who was later to be known as the Spike Milligan. And poor old mother was in a station at that time called Ahmednagar, a little military station where Dad was serving. And she went to the little wooden army hospital by bullock wagon, would you believe it, in the first throes of labor. And when she got in there, she was in the major stages of labor when the army doctor arrived. And he said, oh, how are you, Florrie? And the reply he got was, get out of here! I never want to see another man in my life. Maybe I've had something to do with it, because I didn't arrive on the scene for another 8 years. At any rate, the results of all that was Spike Milligan, who of course was called Terence Allen Milligan. That's where he arrived in 1918 in Ahmednagar, India. And from there the family moved and was stationed to Burma. And in Burma, the second member of the family arrived, which was myself. And I, proudly looking into the friends' eyes and saying, where were you born? They say, I look at them and I say, I was born in the shadow of the great golden Shwedagon Pagoda in Rangoon, Burma. And I was there as a little boy of 5 years of age when the great earthquake shook the place and wrecked the town of Pegu. And as we ran into the garden, my father had me in his arms, and I looked over his shoulders, and the top fell off the great Shwedagon Pagoda and crashed to earth. So there, and I remember it as clear as can be, and I was only 5. And so we go on with the story.